Guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw, editorial director at tigerfitness.com and Muscle and Brawn Nutrition CEO. Q&A Saturday. Sorry I missed last week's Q&A. It was the week before was Father's Day. I had my daughters. I had to drive them back to Wisconsin. You probably noticed today, I look like a raccoon. Sinus issues are kicking my butt, so if I look uglier than normal, I'm sorry. I'm ugly as it is. I can't help it. Sinus issues. All right, guys, I got a ton of questions. What's going to happen is I'm going to do a Q&A video today. I'm going to play a little catch-up, so on Sunday you're going to see another Q&A video. So, if I answer your question in a Q&A video, you can find my email below. Come on over, email me. I'll send you a free copy of either of my book, Massive Iron, which is a base building book, or Massive 6, which is a 6-month beginner program, an alternative program to starting strength, strong lifts, windlers, etc. So, if I answer your question, email me. I'll send you a copy of my book, No Questions Asked. If you have a question that you'd like featured in the Q&A video, send it over to that Q&A link below. I answer every question posted. The best questions I turn into a Q&A video just like this. A little bit sweaty, just crushed an arm workout. Oh my goodness, my bicep is exploding through this shirt, kids. Holy cow. The big, hairy, ugly dude's making gains. All right, let's get started. Enough of the tomfoolery. First question is from Cameron. Cameron says, in your book, Massive Iron, you have deadlift sets 3 for 5 for most routines. So on most routines in Massive Iron, I list deadlifts as 3 by 5. Do you advise 3 sets with the same weight, or would you prefer if we were to ramp up to a heavy set of 1 by 5? As a beginner to late beginner, I would recommend probably a 3 by 5. You need to get some reps in to work on form. After you get to that late beginner, early intermediate stage, you could probably bump down to a 2 by 5 or even a 1 by 5 as your deadlift creeps over, say, 365 pounds. I don't like overworking the deadlift. So as you're building strength up to about the 315 pound point, I'd probably do a 3 by 5. After that point, you could certainly consider moving on to a 2 by 5, or once you get to around a 365 to maybe 385, maybe 4 or 5 deadlift, 1 working set. The big, hairy, ugly dude doesn't believe in overworking the deadlift. I do 1 max effort set, usually a triple, a quad, or maybe a 5 rep set. Then I drop the weight and do something a little bit lighter for 5 to 8 reps. That's all I've ever needed for deadlifts. And once you get to that intermediate stage, 1 to 2 sets max is probably, I'm not going to say that's all you need, but that's a good place to be unless you're super crazed about doing deadlift reps. I don't believe you need a lot of deadlift reps to get strong in the deadlift, but if you want to do more, that's fine, as long as your body can handle it. All right, next question. Let me get some gains here. I got some post-workout protein powder, cookies and cream. I'm drooling all over myself. Sorry, kids, I'm a slob. Next question is from Petit-Tyson. Big, hairy, ugly dude. What's your thoughts for only counting calories instead of macros and calories on a slow bulk? For non-competitors, of course. Only for power building. So, Petit-Tyson is asking, what are my thoughts on only counting calories instead of macros on a slow bulk? Absolutely. The big, hairy, ugly dude has never counted macros. Never counted macros. Why? Because I've never been a bodybuilding or physique competitor. For 99.99% of you that are not trying to compete, you don't need to count macros. Here's my general advice. You need to set a minimum calorie intake based on your goals. If you're bulking or cutting, you need to know what calorie level you're trying to hit. You need to have a protein intake level. Some will say a minimum of 150 per day. I don't like walking that fine line. I'd rather have a little bit more protein per day because I like protein and I get sick of eating carbs. So I recommend 180 to 220 grams of protein per day. It's not a rule, it's a guideline. So I try to hit my calories and my protein per day. I never count macros. If you're eating a balanced diet and you're getting in your calories and you're getting in your protein, then you're probably going to get fats anywhere between 25 to 35% of your diet, and the rest are going to come from carbs. So if you're eating a reasonably balanced diet, you're probably going to get in enough fats, and the fats and carbs will take care of themselves. So that's what I recommend. Getting in your protein, just trying to hit your protein and calorie goals for the day. Eat a balanced diet, and 80 to 90% of good, whole, nutritious foods, and the fats and carbs will likely balance out themselves. Just kind of monitor the fats and carbs to make sure you're not under eating fats, because the body needs fats for skin, for brain function, for organ function, all kinds of stuff. So don't be one of those people that tries to under eat fats. Just balance fats and carbs. Things will take care of themselves as long as you're hitting your calories and protein for the day. Now, if you're an older gentleman like the big, hairy, ugly dude, you might want to not eat as many carbs and eat a little bit more fat, but you still don't have to count them. As we get older, most of us have spent a lot of years eating a lot more junk because we didn't always have good habits. There's a chance as an older dude that you might be a little more insulin sensitive than you were when you're younger. So it would probably benefit you to eat slightly fewer carbs and slightly more fat. All right, next question is from Samuel Cusick-Riley. Steve, I've been training for 6 months, running a 5x5 program, and just got my squat to 100 kg 5x5. So he's about at a 220, 225 squat for a 5x5. But my form has started to break down. Not good. I don't want to go to Snap City. Good call. I don't want to go to Snap City. After reading your book, Massive Iron, I've decided to give your rep goal system a try for 6 months. I hit 60 kg 3x20 today with better form. Will running 20 rep squats with 40% reduced weight and an increase in total volume reduce my gains? Oh no, they will not reduce your gains. Whatever rep range you're working at, if you are focused on progression of weight, you will make proper gains. So it doesn't really matter what rep range you're working at in squats, whether it's 20 rep squats, 15 rep squats, 12, 10, 8, 6, 5x5, whatever. As long as you're progressing, as long as you're pushing for more weight onto the bar, when it makes sense, you will make proper gains. So no need to worry. Focus on good form. Focus on increasing the weight when you can. You'll make gains upon gains, especially on those quads. All right, next question is from Yeti. Let me get some more MTS Whey cookies and cream. This has been my staple for the last 2 weeks. All right, Yeti. Steve, you may remember I posted a few pages back about your full body routine. I've been running it for a few weeks now, and the weights are building up, so he's making progress. It's so different than a 5x5, and the variation is fun. In the last 2 weeks, I feel terrible. I feel exhausted, weak, and down. That's signs that he might be doing a little bit too much work. I'm pretty stressed with my job and with college exams. When I get to the gym, I just feel like crying. Okay, he's under a lot of stress. Is it okay to cut volume a bit? I'm eating at a surplus. Any advice is appreciated. Look, when you get to those stressful times in life, when you have work demands, relationship demands, college demands, they're stressing you, they're beating you down. Is it okay to reduce volume? Yes. There are periods where you thrive in life, and there are periods where you just try to survive in life. Life is about balance, and when some aspect of your life is unbalancing, relationship, school, work, whatever, it's okay to only do 1 to 2 sets per exercise and cut your gym workouts down to 30 to 40 minutes per session. You need to balance things out so you can mentally stay sane. So yeah, it is. You're not going to lose gains. You can still progress on only 1 to 2 sets per exercise. So during those times when you're super stressed, yeah, cut back your volume. Maybe cut back the number of workouts you're doing per week. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. A lot of guys think, oh my God, I can't work out 3, 4, whatever times per week. I didn't get in all my sets. I'm losing gains. Big, hairy, ugly dude, I'm losing gains. You're not losing gains, kids. You're not losing gains. Just cut back. Try to gain control over your life. Don't worry, you're not going to lose gains. Next question is from Elpachino. Elpachino. Let me get some more gains. I'm all kinds of thirsty. It's definitely not a game. Hey, Steve, any tips on how I should train while having golfer's elbow without interfering with the healing process? Golfer's elbow or elbow tendonitis is, I can't stop looking at my bicep, is common amongst lifters. Now, there are some things that contribute to golfer's elbow that I have found over the years. Number one is when you go too heavy on skull crushers too frequently, that can contribute to golfer's elbow. So if you're doing skull crushers and you have elbow tendonitis, I would stop that exercise for a month. After that point in time, you could work it back in, but I would not recommend anything lower than 10 rep sets. And I would only do them every other week. So instead of doing the skull crushers, bring them back here, rotate and extend. A lot of people don't know, and this is kind of a rabbit hole, a rabbit trail, but the long head of the triceps has two functions. It's not just extension. A lot of the bros in the gym will say, when you're doing extensions, or you don't move this part of the arm, you only do this, keep your arms stapled to your side. That's bull crap, boys. Part of the long head, they don't understand anatomy. So let's school them. The long head of the triceps has two functions: rotation, then extension. Rotation, then extension. Rotation, extension. So when you get back on lying skull crushers, you want to rotate down here to the back of your head and then rotate and extend. Rotate and extend. That's going to be a little more elbow friendly than doing this bullcrap. So when you come back after 4 weeks away from skull crushers, do those every other week, okay? You don't want to do skull crushers every week. Now, with your bicep work, you need to cut back on bicep work. Number one, I would get rid of straight bar work. That tends to put a lot of extra stress on the elbows. Go to an easy bar. That places a little less stress on the elbows, and just cut back on your bicep work by about 33% or so. Oops, got a fly trying to eat the big hairy ugly dude. Now, when you're doing back work, another way to help heal that elbow tendonitis on back work is to use straps or VersaGrips on every set. And instead of death gripping all your rows, let those VersaGrips do the work and just kind of cup it and row it. I can do that with rows on over 200 pounds without having a death grip. Just release that tension a little bit, cup it. Don't have that tight death grip. Row every set with straps. Now, some of the bros are like, hey, big, hairy, ugly dude, that's going to impact my grip strength and blah, 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 all that kind of bullshit. Look, if your grip strength is weak, row with straps or VersaGrips and then do grip work when you're done. You need to use straps and VersaGrips on your rows because you'll be able to use a lot more weight, and that will contribute to back gains, kids. So the bros got it wrong. You don't try to train your grip when you're training back. You use grips, use VersaGrips or straps to use as much weight as possible on your back exercises. And then if your grip is weak, then you go train grip. Don't let your weak grip punish your back. So those are tips to help improve elbow tendonitis. Cut back on the frequency you're doing tricep skull crushers. Cut back on your bicep work. Don't do straight bar bicep work. And when you're rowing, use straps. That'll hopefully help you heal. All right, let me get some gains here. This damn fly, the fly is sitting here. The fly is sitting there on my gains. That fly wants my gains. Get off my gains. Stupid fly. Stupid fly. All right. Next question is from Lifeless. Lifeless. Big, hairy, ugly dude. I know I just recently asked a question. Thanks for the reply. I love going to the gym. It's like type of therapy for me. It's fun. I go 5, sometimes 6 days a week. I've been doing, I guess you call it bro split, hitting one muscle group each day. At first I wasn't too much into increasing my strength, but then his strength has gone up, etc. I want to transition to more of a powerlifting routine, but still do accessory work because I enjoy them. Is it okay to do an upper lower 5 to 6 days a week with squatting at least 2 to 3 days per week? Yeah, look, when you want to train more frequently, and the big hairy ugly dude did this when I was training for powerlifting. I trained 5-6 days a week. It can be done. Now you have to balance volume, intensity, which is heavy work, how heavy you're working. You have to balance volume, intensity, and frequency. So when you increase the frequency, or how frequent you're training, you can't do a lot of volume each day. So here's the balance, okay? If you want to train more frequently, if you want to train more frequently, if you're doing intense, you have to decrease the volume. If you want to train more frequently, you have to decrease the volume. You can't increase the frequency and maintain the same volume per day. So yes, you can train more frequently. You just have to keep about the same volume, and you have to really listen to your body. You can do an upper, lower, rest, upper, lower, rest, upper, lower, rest. That's probably the way I would recommend doing it. So you're training 2 out of every 3 days, and that will, get you around 5 days a week. You could do upper, lower, upper, rest, lower, upper, lower, rest as well. Excuse me. You could train like that. Just make sure the volume, you're listening to your body on a given day. You're not doing too much volume. Start with a moderately low volume per day. Get into a rhythm, a pattern for 2 to 3 weeks. Again, with a moderately low volume. See how your body is handling things, and then make adjustments. The real key is in making adjustments. Now, with that said, don't bench more than 2 times a week. I found that counterproductive. It's not necessary. You can squat as many times per week as you need it. Just listen to your body on a given day and don't overdo the volume. Deadlifts, I would not deadlift more than once a week. Never more than 90% of your 1 rep max, and not for a lot of reps. If you want to do a pulling type of movement a second time during the week, do like power shrugs or low rack pull power shrug combinations, nothing from the floor. That should be okay. So, lifeless, I hope that helped. Yes, you can train more frequently. Don't bench more than twice a week. You squat as many times per week as you want. Don't floor deadlift more than once a week. And start with a very moderate volume. See how your body handles things. Make adjustments. Only add volume if you feel like you need to. All right, the fly's gone away. The fly is indeed off my gains. Next question is from D Paradise 81. He says, I would agree with your viewpoints that it's not necessary to test your 1 rep max frequently. Up until this point, my focus has been solely on accumulating volume in the 3 lifts and building a solid strength foundation. However, I would like to test them in the upcoming future to see where my strength level actually is. Could you recommend some guidelines? Yes, I could. Now, here's how you do it. Let's say your max is about 250 on bench, okay? You do like the bar for 10 to 15 once or twice. Then you would move up to 135 and do about 5 reps. Then you would move up to once you get to the 50% of your max range, you want to move up in 10% increments. So, because your max is about 250, you want to move up in 25-pound increments approximately. So 135, you're going to do 5 reps. I would jump up to about 165 and do 3 reps. Jump up to about 190 and do 1 rep. Once you get to that, I do like a 5-3-1 progression. Once I get to that 1 rep, I only do 1 reps building up. So you're about at 190. Then I do about 210 or 215, jump up about 25 pounds. Again, you're jumping up about 10% increments. So 190 for a single, jump up 10%, 215 for a single, jump up 10%, 240 for a single, and now you are ready to rock and roll. You think your max is 250, test 250 for a single. Now, if that felt manageable, meaning like you were able to get it and you felt like you could do a little bit more, try 260. If it was like you got it, but you think you might be able to do 5 pounds more, try 255. If it was super easy, try 265. You have to really use that max attempt to judge where you're at. 5 extra pounds can staple you. So if you were like grinder, oh, that's definitely a max effort, you're about done for the day. If you were like, oh, that was pretty easy, maybe you could try 10 pounds, maybe you could try 5 pounds more. If you were like, boom, that was super easy, slap on 15 pounds more. But that's how you build up to a 1 rep max attempt. You get to about 50%. At that 50% range, you're doing about 5 reps. Then from there, you increase 10% increments. Your next step after that 5 rep set is a 3 rep set. So at about 60% of your max, you're doing a 3 rep set, a 3 rep warm up set. At about 70% of your max, you're doing a single, 80% of your max a single, 90% of your max a single. Then you're going for your max effort. So I hope that helped. All right, 3 more questions for this Q&A video. So hang tough, guys. Cameron says, what's your opinion on the Yates row? Look, the Yates row is a good variation. There's a sometimes a belief, an obsession in the industry that there are magic exercises. Really, any compound movements are something you need to try and see if you like. Are the Yates rows? The Yates row is like this. Standard barbell row is overhand, double overhand. You're driving your elbows back, rowing, driving your elbows back. You don't pull any row with your arms. You drive your elbows back. But with the Yates row, it's just an underhand grip like this. Do I think it is, what is my opinion on it? It's a good variation. The problem with a lot of bodybuilding type of rows like the Yates row and like the barbell row is guys will start out, pretty close, just a little bit above their body, a little bit above parallel. As the weight gets heavy, they start standing up like this and almost just doing like a crazy, it's almost like a twitch, almost like a power shrug. They're so upright. So when the weight gets heavy, I like setting the weight down on the floor to start each rep. That helps me keep my torso down, take strain off my lower back, helps me use an appropriate amount of weight for my strength levels. And I really don't like those upright power twitch rows. I don't feel they're good for the back. So look, if you want to do the Yates row, that's fine. I would try to set the weight down just like a pendley, in the pendley row fashion, in between each rep, just for a split second. And remember to drive your elbows back. Don't pull with your arms. This isn't a bicep movement. Drive your elbows back. Drive your elbows back. When you do this, I can really feel a good lat contraction, and you're not overworking your biceps. So, are Yates rows better than standard rows? That's a non-question. Try them yourself, but just remember to drive your elbows back. Galdino. No, wait. I'm sorry. One more question left for this video. It's from Andreas. Last question for this Q&A. Andreas says, you have a very interesting bench press routine on YouTube. Where you start, I made this routine up last year. You start with 135 pounds on the bar. You do 3 sets of 5 with that. Then you do 3 sets of 10. And then you do an all-out set trying to do 20 reps. And if you can do 20 reps on that 7th set, then you add 5 pounds to the bar the next week. This routine has been a huge success. A lot of guys have tried this, and it has put some substantial amount of weight on their bench press. It seems like a silly routine on paper, but it increases the volume, it increases endurance, and this routine has been working magic for guys. So give it a try if you haven't tried it. But he has a question. I'm wondering if it would be a sound idea to incorporate this routine into a full program, even if that program includes another day of benching per week. So he's thinking like a volume day and an intensity day where he's doing, more intense, higher weight type of work. Yeah, you could try that. This type of program, I wouldn't add any additional chest work on this type of setup where, again, you're doing 3x5, 3x10, the 20 rep set. That's your volume day. No more chest work. But you want to make sure you have 2, maybe 3 days rest in between bench sessions before you go trying a heavy bench day. So I would bench on Monday doing this volume, just as an example, doing this volume type of program, then take Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday off, come back Friday and do your heavy benching work. That gives you Saturday and Sunday to recover. You're not going to need as much time to recover from your heavy benching work because you're not going to feel sore. You're just going to go in and do like a 3x2 or 3x3 or heavy max effort or whatever you're doing on your bench. Take a couple of days off and come back to the volume. So yeah, I absolutely think that would work. I would take, in a perfect world, 3 complete rest days off before you do your heavy work. So that's it for this Q&A, guys. Again, if I answered your Q&A question in this video, find my email below. Email me. I'll send you a free copy of either of my books, no questions asked. And again, if you want your question featured in this Q&A, come on over to my Q&A link. I answer every question posted. Again, the best questions I turn into a Q&A video like this. If you have made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. Please do. I would appreciate the support. And if you want to connect with the Big Hairy Ugly Dude on Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, Tumblr, all that good stuff, guys, the links are all below. Please connect with me. I would appreciate it. So, guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Oh, look at those stretch marks. Have a great day, guys.